Hello. I go Terrainaholic means. Hey, Greenleaf. Are you guys seeing me? Hey, Greenleaf, you there? It says playing, but it also says offline. Is anybody seeing this? It says streaming to primary. We got anybody there today? Hello? Hmm. Anybody there? I'm showing 3 people. If anybody's seeing this, can you put something in the chat comment section so I know I know I'm not talking to myself. Hello. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. Kind of silly to play to an empty room. Greenleaf, anybody? Mystics? I'm showing 4 people. Hey, Russ. Okay, we got somebody. All right. Just just wondering if anybody was there. Okay, that's cool. Okay. Today's gonna be a little bit of kind of DM Scotty inspired because it's gonna feature a lot of glue gun work. Um, unless somebody wants to see something else. Do we got? I suppose I could the like the first half of the show I could show you what I was doing, and then like second half of the show, we can do whatever you guys want to do. Throw in the comment section. Look at that stuff. Do have a lot of junk behind me, no doubt about that. If you guys got a topic or a a certain type of terrain you guys want to cover, throw it in the chat room comment section, because I don't think this one's going to take terribly long. Oh, that's okay, Mystics. No problem. We got everything off the ground. What I'm going to be showing you is kind of a quick how-to. So what I'd like to get from the 4 people that we got here, if there's a technique or if there's a certain type of terrain that you want to see me build today, just throw it in the comments section, and I will be more than happy to cover that with the show. Sometimes your brain takes a long time. I think all-terrain guys, we always in the back of our mind are problem solving. We always look at something, we're always trying to figure out how can I represent that on the tabletop. And for about 4 years I've been driving past this fountain by work. And never struck me as being anything particularly special. Certainly never crossed my mind, gee, how would I represent that on the tabletop? Okay, yeah, I can totally do that. Not a problem. Got a lot of Halloween stuff, as a matter of fact. Okay. Alright, so, was driving to work, and they've got a fountain that is one of those standard kind of just, it sprays out in a circle. Very, very common, not very special, but three-dimensionally could easily be a nightmare to figure out how to do on the tabletop. And then, probably because I was carrying this with me to work, I got a bright idea. So, saving you all of the 3D-ness of it, I figured out that if you were to take this, cut this end off, obviously get rid of the plastic coating with all the writing and whatnot on it, and you were to cut sections out, not slits, but literal sections out of it, and you did it inside out, it would give you that kind of fan going into individual streams. You essentially get something like this, guys. I don't know if you can see this really well because it's transparent. I'm kind of turning it to make it a little more obvious to see. But what this is, besides looking like a helicopter propeller, is it gives me this really neat arcing stream kind of look. And then what I did is I cut these in a semicircle, because when it hits the base of the water, what I'm going to simply do is I'm simply going to bend it. I'm going to bend it at a 90-degree angle to the water, and then I'm simply going to use my hot glue gun to pull things across. Oh, sweet! Absolutely. Absolutely. If I don't have anything that I really need and or want to go to, tell me where it's at. I'd be happy to stop by. Just to see the magic in person. Maybe throw an idea out or two. It's always fun to get involved with different terrain guys, because all of our experiential bases are so much wider than our individual angles are at. The ability to see a much broader, bigger picture is always awesome. That's why I love seeing you guys do what you do. Never fails that you guys always problem solve a little bit differently than me, and it makes my my repertoire a little bit bigger and easier to work with. But anyways, so long story short, what I did was I cut this into angle. It looks straight here, but it's really not. I had to cut this into like a teardrop point to get this shape here. And if I'd have been smarter, I probably would have done this in 4 instead of 5. 5 is very difficult to work with geometrically. Uh, so you want to do 4 if you're, when you're cutting this. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this over here. Let me just situate this. So what I did was I looked for a very simple profile. What I wanted to do is I was a little bit low on actual bricks, so it's like, what do I have excess of that I can use for a project like this? And I originally went with 8 curved 1/8 sections of circle. Is much too small. Then I added to it a 1" by 1/2" extension piece. It's still a little bit small, so I'm going to extend this out. I never really use these quarter window section pieces for the fieldstone. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to kind of explode this out a little bit, and I'm going to add these in some more. This will push everything out a little bit farther, which is what I want ultimately. What I'm basically doing is I'm basically problem solving to get out to the size that I'm looking for. Because what I want is I want the water to have a natural arch going all the way down. I don't want it to be too tight. It's got a nice natural curvature to it, and I don't want to lose that because I want to keep as much of the realism as I can. So what I'm doing is I'm just building this out. There's one flat side. You're gonna want to always have that flat side down. Don't make the mistake of not checking. But I'm just taking a look at this and trying to get a feel for what is the diameter that I need to make this work, essentially. And it's easy to get out of round, so kind of pay extra close attention to your, for some odd reason I always tend to pull it in, and then I've got this, then I've got to rework it all the way back out again. So don't be like me, be smarter than me. And basically what this is it's an exercise in taking excess pieces, junk if you will, and seeing what kind of artistic stuff you can get out of it. You'd be amazed at what you could build out of your junk. You really would. So here we go. We're getting pretty close now. Yeah, I didn't do too bad. This should bring me right out to the size I need it to be. So now it's much bigger than it was. It started off about that big. And now I want to say we're running probably at least 6-7 inches across, almost 8, a little over 7, which is fine. And then I just grabbed a bunch of individual bricks to get an appropriate height to this. And it's like I said, it's 5, so it's not going to fall evenly. Ultimately, you want to do 4, and you want to have it hitting the 4 corners, or the 4 curvatures, whatever works best for you. This piece right here, you're probably wondering, how is this cap going to work out for me? What I would do with this cap is I would simply paint this up in like a brass or something, and it would work out really, really well for you. So you just lay that down in there. Now from here, I'm just going to hold it down with my finger. And what I want to do is I want to swing this down and then check it over. And there you're going to basically see what it's going to look like. It's going to give me a nice angle. You want to probably have it fall like towards the end and almost a straight line down. Um, but you can bring it in. Just don't go negative. Your vertical line, because then it will. Because water doesn't do this. So either come straight down or at a curve out and down. Now, the little bit of the real artwork that comes into this, which is a la DM Scotty with all of the fine glue work that he does. A bit repetitious, but it'll give you a beautiful effect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quite simply start with my glue gun. I'm going to work from my base in here. What I'm ultimately going to look for later on is a post that's roughly just a tad bit smaller than this hole, that's going to come up and with a small flat spot, and I'm just going to put a figure on that. It could be, elven, whatever. Elves are pretty into, beautiful structures like this, so it'll work out really, really well. But what I want to do is I just want to take my hot glue gun, and ultimately you want to have it on low. I can't find my other glue gun. I think this one's running a bit hot, so this might not even work out really, really well. But I don't want to melt this so much as I want to coat this. So I'm just going to run down one of these just to give you a feel of what it would look like down one. So I'm going to just take my hot glue gun and I'm going to just start drawing a fanning line out. The beauty of hot glue is that it dries clear, as long as you don't burn it. So you can already see where it looks very much just like clear water. And so what I want to do is I just want to continue that on now. Now it's beginning to melt this, which I anticipated it was going to do. But like I said, I'm out of glue with my cooler hot gun, or hot glue gun. So I'm going to just continue on. If it gets some unnatural ripples in it, it is water, so it's very likely it's going to still look fairly realistic, because they do tend to come out in froths. So if it doesn't take on too even of a scheme, that's still okay. One thing you want to try not to get, if you can, is a bunch of the little spider wisps. Those can be a problem with, obviously, with realism. So you might want to do like 4 or 5, and then just let it cool down and pull your excess away. You can also try and just blend them in. But like I said, this is already beginning to start to really warp the plastic here. So you want to run with a cooler temperature. See how much that curves? See how quickly that curves due to the heat? That's just the nature of the glue gun. First thing you want to do is just make sure you don't, burn yourself. But basically, that's my stream of water. It doesn't look super realistic, like I said, because it's too hot. And I probably applied it also a little bit too quickly. If I were to run with my gun cooler and run, say, 2 or 3 strands, let it chill out, cool down, and then keep doing it, I probably wouldn't get these really strong things. But it does look kind of cool. It's not, like I said, the most natural curved piece, but, if you're willing to work with it and wait, unlike I am, you can probably get a fairly decent level of control over it. So that is an element on how you can go about making strips of water coming out of a fountain going into a well or what have you, a small pond. So there you go, one last look. I'm not real happy with this, but again, I think this is due to just because this gun is set on high and I can't set it to low, and that I probably did too many strokes, got too much on here to, you know, and it heated it up, and obviously it began to crinkle and shrivel. So the thing is, though, if you're like my wife, she picks up a dozen of these at a time. You can literally make a couple of mistakes. What I would probably do is I'd probably keep working with this until I found what worked. And then by the time I'm on to the fifth one here, I'm probably going to have a pretty good feel for how it's going to react to the hot glue. And then this will become my actual piece. Like I said, it's something that we throw out anyways. It's no big deal. So if nothing else, it's a process of experimentation. So let me just separate these pieces out here. And I want to jump into the comments section real quick. Jed wants to see Halloween terrain. Do you guys is everybody else kind of in concurrence with that? Hot glue is hypnotizing. Yeah. Never had a problem with really hot glue fumes. Might explain why I'm a little bit crazy. What? Take beeps. Hey, Timmer. Thamir? One of the things I love about bottles is how many functions they serve, particularly for sci-fi terrain. But okay, so we're all in concurrence. We want to see some Halloween terrain. Righto. Can I have one person second it in the comments section, since we got about 7 of us here today? So like I said, the show is yeah, we got about 40 minutes, so I could probably cover actually two things. But anyways, let me show you first of all the kind of stuff that you want to look for. That's only really around this time of year, and the kind of stuff that I use this for. I might have shown this previously, so I apologize if you have seen this before. But again, this is the kind of stuff that you want to look for this time of year. It works awesome for vampire counts. I'll be right back. This is a baby that I like a whole lot. This piece right here, I picked it for about $1.69. What makes this kind of special is a couple of different things. I'm not certain if I could get a light source to come down through here. Actually, I probably could. He's got a face that's showing an opening here and in the eyes. Let me show you how I would go about utilizing what I've got to make this work. Now, I don't have anything quite this small, but I've got a trick up my sleeve. So let me show you how I would go about doing that. I will be right back. If I wanted to get light to come out of these two locations here, what I've got here is an LED tea candle light. And when you kick it on, it actually blinks like an actual candle would. If I were to do that upside down, I don't know if you can see it, but it does make his eyes and probably down into the mouth glitter a bit. Now, probably would require some clay work or some green work stuff, and you might want to do like a deck up here, and you might also want to do like a staircase coming up the back. I've got all this, these right here these Herstarts pieces, you could very easily make a staircase going up to this, do a deck piece around this in stone. You might want to use the concept that I used here, but use blood and have blood come down into this little piece right down in here. Now, obviously, you could do one of two things. You could keep the pumpkins if you wanted to have that kind of Halloween feel, or quite simply, what I would most likely do is I'd probably get like my lichen or clump flock or something else other than that, or basically that type of thing, and just clump flock all the way around this. So what I would get is I would get a kind of like I believe Warhammer has different power decks for like mages and whatnot that can use different things. This can function as your own version of that. Some other things here. You notice that this is coming out of a tree. Now, that could be a negative, it could be inconsequential, a negative, or a positive. If you wanted to make this very interesting, if you're not worried about, if you've got plenty of space to store things, you can go out in your yard, look for a branch that's roughly that diameter, and if you have a saw like I've got, that's got a 360-degree blade, you can possibly set this up where you've cut an arched hole in the actual branch that someone can walk through, and then literally have a tree. Now, what can work well with this as well is, if you want to, you can also paint this up to look like wood. It does have a different texture, but with the proper use of blending, you could also use some green stuff if you wanted to just blend the line. I'm not saying green stuff the whole thing. It would be a total pain in the butt and not worth it. But what you could do is, if you don't like this kind of pumpkin-y look to it, you can do a blend job right along with the crack and begin to blend it right in with this look of wood, or what will become wood, and just make this wood as well. That's what I would do. So this is a very, like I said, it was a $1.60. It's a very cheap and easy way to do. I'm not sure what the actual spell casting pieces go for Warhammer, but I'm willing to think that it's a lot more expensive than $1.50 and an afternoon of work. Probably the most expensive thing you're going to be doing is utilizing Herstarts bricks to do it. But this is one example of a Halloween piece that, like I said, if you had the blood coming in, this looked like a demonic tree. One of the other cool things you can do with trees as well is you can have crow cages hanging from them. Like I showed a couple weeks ago, I was utilizing hair curlers to proxy crow cages, or just skeletons or skeleton bits you can have hanging from the branches, or just characters that you're not really wild about. I've gotten lots of Mage Knight lots where I would say anywhere from a quarter to a half of them I wasn't terribly wild about. Now, these make great sacrificial pieces. By that I mean you can use them as bodies, you know, hanging in trees, or whatever it is you want to do. Chopped up limbs. You could have chopped up limbs down in here, like they're sacrifices for magical powers, what have you. Lots and lots and lots of possibilities there. One of the biggest things that I picked up, if you've played Diablo, what does it do? Most of the whole. I'm not sure. That's a very good question. These are probably some of the thickest ones I've seen. I've seen LEDs almost half the height of this. Um, and you just have to look for it. If you're willing to do some kit bash, you could probably drastically reduce the height silhouette of this. Really, all you're interested in is the uh, the switch and the power source, and that's about it. You know, once you've got that source light piece on, and you've got the ability to turn it on and off, it's all it really needs. Um, and it takes an already beautiful piece and can turn it into an exceptional piece. I really like look at the level of detail in this. I mean, even the bark. The only place that doesn't have a remarkable amount of detail is a place that I really don't care if it does or doesn't, because like I said, I would paint this up as blood, and I would do like a very thin stream of plastic, and just have it running blood down into the pool. Um, Now, something I did a couple years ago, I haven't gotten around to. I get these ideas, and if I've got, 10, 20 bucks in my pocket, I just do it because I know someday I'm gonna uh, do all these projects I have in the back of my mind. It was the end of the year, and they were getting rid of all of their Halloween stuff, and I've always wanted to make an undead kind of skeleton motif dungeon, like a foam one. You know, nothing spectacular. Pretty easy to make, pretty easy to store. If you are familiar with Diablo 2, there is a section called I think it's the Summoner's Dungeon, and it's basically a dungeon that's just decks and bridges floating out in space. It's really stinking cool. For all you old Diablo fans out there, I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, one of the things I thought was really neat about the dungeon style is the bridges would go over each other and under with decks and whatnot. And I wanted to come up with a method to support these different decks and bridges. So let me unplug you. We'll go into my messy storage area. So what I found were these really, really cool cups. And you could probably